Hey y'all, it's Lindsay Joan from season 20 of The Voice, and I'm hanging out with Rob from Front Row Live.
Your vocal range is insane, and I feel it, and it's like interesting because I feel like you're more comfortable in the higher register than you are with your lower register. But talk to me a little bit about kind of discovering your voice and discovering how or when or basically, yeah, pretty much how like you are able to hit those ranges that you do.
Yeah, well, thank you. That's very nice of you to say. Well, I've been singing since I was like 5 years old, so forever. And actually, the filming for Blinds, I had bronchitis during that whole month that I was there for Blinds. So my low register was gone. So it kind of made it easier to sing actually, because my chest voice was a little bit stuffed up, but my head voice was easier to get to. So in that situation, yes, it was definitely easier. But yeah, I've been singing for forever. I started off doing musical theater, and that's great training for you vocally. Singing musical theater is definitely a lot about technique and having a healthy technique and healthy chords. So that's always been really important to me. And a lot of the influences I had growing up were a lot of pop, rock, belty sort of influences. But I also really love, the quieter, softer, jazzy kind of songs too. So I had a lot of influences and a lot of training. So yeah, I feel really lucky to be able to be here and talk to you about this and all that. Yeah.
The fact that you have that experience vocally, and then the training as well, and then also the influence that you do have, like how does that play a role when it comes to picking and choosing what songs you're able to perform for The Voice?
Well, for The Voice specifically, we had lots of songs in mind. And because I have sort of a broad range of influences, I wouldn't say it was like too challenging to pick what song we wanted to do, but I had a lot to, kind of figure out what I wanted to showcase and like how I wanted my artistry to be seen. And, I like to think that I can do a whole lot of different types of music because I have those influences. But I wanted to lead with probably my most influential sound, which is the pop rock sound. And, the music department at The Voice is so incredible and did a great job at narrowing down the songs we had. And I think Neimer was the perfect choice. And I'm so happy I was able to do it.
Goes perfectly with picking Nick as well, just because of his older like pop rock style stuff with the Jonas brothers. So like going into the studio with him for that first time to start to figure you out as an artist and start to work on the music that you would be working on, how do you feel Nick kind of helped you become a better singer than you already are, and how do you feel he kind of challenged you at the same time?
It was really wonderful getting to work with Nick, and I had such a great time hanging out with him and getting all of his tips and expertise. I think, specifically, when we were doing Rewrite the Stars, that's a musical theater pop song. So it was kind of fun to be able to go back into my musical theater, roots, but still it's a pop song. And we very heavily talked about how like this is a pop song and it needs to have that pop rock energy, that modern energy, while still respecting the storytelling and the musicality of it. And he was super helpful in all of that, and just being, because I know he has, a history with musical theater and acting and storytelling, and all those things were really important to Zay and I to get across in this song because it's a really beautiful love story, and we wanted to get that across. So he was really helpful in helping us find that and making the song as honest and raw as possible while keeping the vocals and the pop sound still really nice.
Now, as far as you and Zay, how do you guys feel your chemistry was in the studio, and especially learning this particular song and figuring out, which pocket, who sings which pocket of the track? What was that experience like for you?
It was great. Working with Zay was so amazing. It's always really incredible when you can collaborate with another artist, especially in a setting like this. Really had a great time. We always made jokes like we feel like we're in band camp, and we were assigned like a song to perform in front of all the camp counselors. It's kind of how it felt, but it was really fun. Every day we'd get together and we work on the song. And when it comes to like who sang what, it kind of just came naturally. This song already gives you the male and female parts because it's a male-female duet. But we changed things up here and there to what would fit both of our ranges better. And it really happened quite easily, figuring out who sang what and what the vibe was going to be and what the energy was going to be. And I feel like Zay and I always had great chemistry. Even, when we were just rehearsing in the rehearsal rooms, he and I working together, we always worked really well together. And I think, that really showed in the performance for sure.
With this song and your nightmare performance for blind auditions, like, did you find yourself approaching the rehearsal process differently?
I did, yeah. I definitely feel like coming back to do battles was like a second chance, because like I said, I was really sick during blind, so I was really excited to be able to not be sick during battles and be able to be fully my most like capable self, physically, spiritually, vocally, all that. So going into it feeling good was really important and really helpful, of course. But also when it comes to like how I prepared, how I took care of myself, especially during all of that, like really being extra precautious, was it definitely different. When we were staying there, we were very isolated because of we had a lot of protocols, and it was a lot of self-isolation, being alone in your hotel room for days at a time, weeks at a time. And I think also a big thing that I did differently was prioritize my mental health as well, because it is a lot of isolation and it is a stressful environment. It's a competition, it's stressful, and to do that in complete isolation can be kind of overwhelming. But I think coming back for battles, I really knew I wanted to take care of myself 100% vocally, physically, mentally, and put my best foot forward in that way.
With isolation being one of these main factors that you had to deal with, like, how do you feel that played a role or impacted your mental state when it comes to songwriting? Did you feel like it helped you kind of just start to write a lot more for your own personal music, or do you feel like it kind of blocked you from writing because it was, I don't know, some artists I hear get really inspired, and some artists hear that they get really depressed and they can't even write?
Well, it was, for me, a really wonderful time to write. I had my guitar with me and I wrote so many songs during that time of being there for blinds and for battles. Just personally in my own life, I was going through a lot of things during battles, and my mental health wasn't, fantastic. I think especially during this, we've all sort of experienced that, of having moments where we just felt lost or down. And especially being in isolation, I did find myself feeling more sad and feeling more anxious. And so moving towards songwriting and journaling was really helpful. And I did write more sadder songs while I was there, not because I was sad to be there, but just being in isolation and everything that was going on in the world and in my own personal life, I was feeling more sad, and I was writing sadder songs. But they did feel more inspired, and they did feel raw, and I'm excited to continue working on them and hopefully releasing them sometime soon.
I gotta admit, I'm really bummed about tonight's results, just because like your voice is so incredible. Like I really want to hear more from you. And even if the show is not an option right now for this season, like I'd really love for you to continue to pursue your music. So for those fans that you've had already and those that you've kind of gained throughout your experience here on The Voice, what can they look forward to moving forward?
Yeah, obviously, like I would have loved to stay longer on the show, but I really do feel like I'm a big believer in divine timing. And I really do feel like this was the opportunity. This was such a wonderful opportunity. It was the opportunity for me to catapult into this industry. And I think for all of us, no matter what happens in the show, we're all so excited. Me and all of the cast are so excited to continue working on our careers. And for me personally, I have a single coming out here soon that I've been working on for the last year with my music producer, who's also my brother. We've been making music together since I was a little kid, and we're really excited to continue making music together. So I have a single coming out in a couple months, and I'm going to continue making songs and hopefully getting an album together. So yeah, definitely not stopping here. This is just the beginning, and I'm so grateful for the show, honestly. And it was so funny, like when, when the battle was over, everyone was like, we go back to the hotel, everyone's so sad, people that didn't make it or whatever. And I was just like genuinely so happy. And everyone was like, "Are you okay? What's going on? Why are you happy?" And I'm like, this was so cool. Like, I don't know. I still kind of feel that way. Like, it's so cool and so amazing. And I'm so grateful to even like be here and have this opportunity. So I'm so stoked for the future. And, even though tonight's outcome wasn't like the ideal outcome, it's what happened, and all is well. And I'm so grateful.
What do you think you got out of this show, like as far as like a learning experience, whether it was something that had to do with like a new way of a new vocal range that you can now hit, or like something like learning new ways to perform, or even new ways to write? Like, what do you feel you got out of this season?
I got so much out of being on The Voice this season. I'd say I learned a lot about myself being there those few months. Um, Mostly, I learned about prioritizing my mental health, like I said, taking care of myself physically, emotionally, 100%. All of me needs to be taken care of, and prioritizing my art and my artistry and my music for sure. And also just like being grateful for every moment and being present in every moment. This being on a competition like this or being on a TV show like this is really challenging, and can make you feel a lot of different ways, excited, but also insecure at times, maybe like you're not good enough. So it definitely brings out a lot of feelings. And I'm really grateful that I got to feel all of those feelings, because now I know myself better, and knowing myself better can only make my music better. So I'm so grateful for the experience, and I feel like I got so much out of it.
It's awesome. Well, congratulations with your experience here on The Voice and being
Thank
able to
you.
perform the songs that you did. And thank you so much for taking the time. I'm looking forward to more music from you for sure.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. It was great talking to you.